And now, our feature presentation.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Man, it's been ages since the last time I was on the interwebs, flapping my gums. So welcome to another edition of B30, Back in Your Life. Now, once again, I was on my computer, reading up on this weekly advice column from a Christian magazine, where pastor/counselor Eddie Koffels provides answers to questions submitted by subscribers. So I'll just read for you what this one particular person had to ask. Hi, Eddie. I have been married for nearly 5 years to an amazing Jesus-following husband. We are doing well together and are part of a vibrant church. We are both in our late 20s, so you think we'd be perfectly set up to have kids. The only thing is, I don't really like having children yet. I'm not worried about finances or the future in general, but the thought just doesn't excite me. The mountains of diapers and severe lack of sleep are standing out more clearly in my mind's eye than the miracle of a new human being. But recently, I've been hearing preachers and reading about how children are a gift from God and we are to be fruitful and multiplying if we get the chance, which makes me wonder whether I'm disobeying God and being selfish or, well, I don't know. You tell me. Thanks. Signed, Becca. Well, let me just cut to the chase here and point out Pastor Eddie addressed this popular misconception about how you aren't a family without children. We've just been socially conditioned to believe and think that having children is what completes or makes a family truly a family. Pastor Eddie goes on to clarify that, and I quote, "You were a family the moment you stood on the altar and made a covenant bond as husband and wife. You weren't incomplete, waiting for someone else to finish the puzzle. You were a wonderful married creation." End quote. Unfortunately, the popular belief and cross-cultural norm that children is the be-all and end-all for all global and even religious contexts, such as Christianity, is due to the fact that people have misinterpreted and misapplied what the Bible says about procreation. I mean, Becca's email mentioned the Bible saying children are a gift from God and we are to be fruitful and multiply, but technically, God never explicitly commanded or required us to have children. Like, you can comb through the Bible from cover to cover, but there is no biblical mandate that says that having children is mandatory. If you took the time to break down that biblical adage in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27-28, it reads, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. God blessed them and said to them, 'Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground.'" So, if we slowed it down a bit and read over verse 28 again, it's pointing out that up until this point in time in this particular passage, God was only the one who could create humans and their subsequent offspring. But now, because God loves us and created us in his image, we get the opportunity to share or get a taste of God's divine work to create life. But God didn't say we have to do this or we're disobeying him. He says we can do this, that is, procreate, and should remember that children, and everything in life in general, is a blessing from him. So remember to say please and thank you. It's okay to decline from exercising your procreation ability given by God. Just to state the obvious here, Kids aren't for everyone. Sometimes God just has other plans for your time and life, and perhaps you're not called to multiply. However, if you choose to decline to exercise your procreation abilities, or if you're thinking about considering the possibility that you're not called to multiply, it can be a very difficult situation for you because all cultures across the globe hold such a high regard for people who have kids. I mean, I can speak from a North American sociological perspective that having children is one of the main life transitions in a person's life that signifies that they have truly become fully responsible and contributing members of civilized society. I guess the wordiness aside, what I'm trying to say is having kids or becoming parents, it kind of represents like two people achieving another level or entering the next stage of successful adulthood in a given society's norms. So if you think about it, to be considered an accomplished or normal adult in a given society, you have to accomplish a series of life transitions. So for example, growing up as a kid, one of the first life transitions you start to accomplish is you excel in academic performance. And then when you do that, it leads to your next life transition, which is gaining acceptance into a prestigious learning institution like a university or college or a trade school. And when you accomplish that, your next life transition is to complete or graduate from this said prestigious learning institution. And then the next step in this successful adulthood process is to achieve a prosperous professional career that gives you financial security and stability. And given time, once you've got that down, the next life transition that symbolizes your professional success can be, I don't know, like purchasing your first home. You're becoming a homeowner or something. And simultaneous to that, let's not forget there are personal life transition achievements as well, such as meeting your life partner, getting married. So when you, as a person who's succeeded in having a romantic and professional life, I mean, what else is there to do, right? So the next challenge or the next logical step in the progression towards a higher level of successful adulthood is to what? I guess you have kids. And after that, I guess you retire from work, and then the final kind of life transition is to successfully have grandkids and pass on your worldly wisdom, I guess. My point is, I'm sure there were a lot of couples in the mid-20th century who were just socially conditioned to just go through these stages or life transitions to a T because it was just socially expected of them to have kids and to do it. And that it doesn't matter whether you genuinely want kids or not. And this is due to the fact that there is such a negative stigma for being known as like, oh, that dude's sterile or that lady's barren. Or there's just so much chuckles and whispers that, oh, that odd married couple is in their 50s or 60s and they don't have children yet. Weirdos. Like, there's such a negative stigma with couples who don't have children. I guess what I'm trying to say is you can kind of see how this popular belief that having kids completes a family unit is so strong in whatever particular culture or particular societal context. Rambling rant aside, what I'm trying to say is please do not have kids for the wrong reason. Don't get me wrong. I don't know what the right reasons are for having a kid. I mean, that's like meaning of life stuff. But all I want to comment on is it's possible that certain people become parents because it is a form of self-validation. I mean, it's kind of like a prideful display to others that, oh, look at me. I have my life in order. I have a good career. Look at my wonderful marriage. I mean, it only makes sense that I can handle the health and financial strain of bringing a child or multiple children into the world. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, another less genuine but rather pragmatic reason for having kids is that it could be a type of short-term or long-term investment. So, I don't know, from like an anthropological perspective, I don't know, like one hypothetical scenario of having children would be like a married couple in a developing country where your subsistence is based on farming, livestock, or hunting and gathering, then technically, and it's common sense that you would naturally have children as a means to gain a cost-effective source of manual labor. I'm guessing children 4 and above in developing countries, they're pretty much good to go, so to speak, in the sense that they can pitch in to some capacity doing chores at home, or if they're overachievers, they're working in factories making shoes or clothes, or on the streets picking up cans and like selling flowers to tourists to help support the family. Conversely, in a first world nation context, having children can be kind of a long-term investment in the sense that couples have kids to ensure that they have someone to take care of them in their old age. So it's almost like a form of self-preservation. So if we work that idea out, let's say you bite the bullet, you have children, and you just grit your teeth and dig in and raise them for the first 18 years. You make sure they get a good education, and hopefully you've instilled on them these values that they're going to be loyal and responsible. Then, when you're in your kind of retirement age and your health is dwindling, it's pretty much time to cash in on your investment in the sense that your adult children will do the honorable thing and take you to the doctor's appointments, pick up your meds, figure out your taxes, file whatever paperwork, or I don't know, help put up a Christmas tree or whatever. And God forbid, just before you take the old dirt nap, they help get your affairs in order, make the necessary financial and funeral arrangements, and all those infinite details that come along with it. All right, now, those examples I mentioned were highly speculative. They're overgeneralizations about human behavior. So these scenarios I came up with only make sense assuming that all adult children will have a strong moral obligation to take care of their elderly parents. Not to mention, I'm being quite offensive to imply that all couples who reach old age are helpless and incompetent. But the point of my whole people having kids for the wrong reasons rant is, whether you want to have children or not, it's really good to fully explore your internal self and discover why exactly you want or don't want kids. I think it's important to identify and address any false presuppositions or assumptions you have with your desire for or against children. I don't know, for example, so for those folks out there who want to have children, are you assuming or thinking it's a given that you're going to receive a cute and healthy baby? I mean, what if your baby has like severe autism or Down syndrome or some rare muscle or nerve or cognitive disorder, which pretty much makes them like an invalid or like a special needs kid? Are you ready to handle that? I mean, I don't know, like what if the kid's like always drooling and has an inability to communicate? Can you handle the rude stares of pity from onlookers? Can you handle the constant caregiving and the financial strain for such long-term treatment and assistance? I mean, once you have a kid and it's not exactly what you expected or wanted, I mean, you can't just shove it back in the old uterus like it's a casserole and like, oh, it just needs more heating in the oven. I mean, it doesn't work like that. So if by wanting kids, you only want like a smooth skin, beautiful eyes, no birth defect or blemish-free kind of child, you need to reassess your desire to have children and think long and hard whether you are ready for such a responsibility. And with that being said, for those who don't want children, like what specifically are you not looking forward to? I mean, aside from the sleep deprivation, diminished health, kind of like your figure goes, and especially for the ladies, it's no secret it wrecks things physically south of the border, if you know what I mean. I mean, the lack of the personal space, money issues, the headaches of feeding or clothing a finicky child. I mean, what if you're an introverted personality type and you get like a loud, brash, extroverted personality kid or vice versa? I mean, there's just so much to consider. Another aspect of the matter to think about would be like, what if the act of childbearing specifically is something you don't want? Like for the ladies, you want the kids, you just don't want to endure the painful ordeal of birthing a child from your body, the old excessive blood and guts and the tears and the sweat. Then I don't know, maybe adoption is always an option. But with that being said, I'm not trying to say not having children is better than having children. I'm not trying to say that parenting isn't worth all that hard work. The thing is, whether you're nurturing a marriage, connecting with family, balancing work while maintaining personal relationships, or trying to foster a safe community, all those things are hard to do. Yet married couples or single people alike have managed to engage in those things. So why not give yourself a bit more credit that you can handle the task of bringing children into the world as the next exciting chapter in your life? Nevertheless, one should take some time soul searching, maybe involving God in prayer to some level. Maybe if you're married, ask your significant other, or even consult a counselor, basically anyone you can trust, and just explore those reasons for or against having kids. Do not be afraid to ask yourself the hard questions. And after that process, who knows, maybe you'll have a stronger resolve and confidence knowing what you want and what you can or cannot handle. So I don't know, when people start badgering you with questions about why you don't have kids or why you want to have kids, you'll be more than equipped to address them. All right, I'm going to stop here. I would love to hear what you folks think. So feel free to drop a comment below or check out the Facebook page and Twitter account for the latest news and updates of all things B30. Okay, show's over. So goodbye.